Morning guys, how are we doing? Hope you're well. So we're going to be talking a little bit this morning. I want to share a little bit of insight into when I left the Royal Marines, how I adjusted, trying to fit into normality, really coming back in. So and how my state of mind was fried. But before I do that, you know what time it is. I'm going to show you how beautiful this morning is. How about that for a morning view? Sorry if you're on audio, but you're seeing a beautiful sunrise, beautiful sea, ocean, birds singing. That's it. Perfect scenes. Listen, if you're on audio, please do drop a review for me. It does help the podcast go up the charts a little bit so more people see it and it can help more people out. And if you're obviously interested in doing something about your fitness and your health and your mindset, then obviously there's a link directly at the bottom of this post. We've got the Brotherhood program, which is going mental for some people. So if you want to come and join us, you know, it's about more about motivation as it is fitness, as it is nutrition. You know, it's an ever-growing platform. There's going to be a lot of guys in there soon who are really doing well. So listen, I'm going to talk very quickly about when I left the Marines and why I left the Marines, because it's a question I get asked a lot about why I left. So my job when I joined up, obviously it was for 2 years. I became just a standard operator in the Royal Marines. I then went on to train to become a sniper, did a sniper aptitude, which somehow I passed, and then went on to the course, which was one of the most demanding mentally I've ever done. You know, 9 weeks of just pure concentration, of pure focus, map reading, observations, shooting. You know, it was amazing. And managed to get my sniper badge, which was great. So I then joined Recce Troop in Plymouth, 4-2 Commando, and then we went to Norway, then got called back to go to deploy to Afghan in 2006. Came back and then kind of just helped out on a sniper training team, learning a bit more about my trade, and kind of helping others kind of come through and support them through the course. From there, I managed to get on a PTI aptitude, which is a physical training instructor for a Royal Marine. And I did really well. And I come second on that and managed to... Where's Jesse? And managed to get onto a course, which was great. So my PTI course, PT course in theory, was 8 months long. It was arduous, very, very, very tough physically. Not only did we have to learn that everything that most PTs in the civilian world have to learn, but we had to do all of the fitness as well to go alongside of it. Everything that the recruits had to do, I had to do as well. So we had to prove that we could keep up with the recruits, so to speak. So it was it was amazing. I then sort of got sent to Bavaria, to learn to ski for 3 months, which was the best 3 months of my life. So then I came back and I really settled down into my job with the Marines. I did what I was trained to do, and that was take recruits through their physical training for their 32 weeks training. So my job was to make sure that I was getting these guys fit through 3 phases of training. The first phase was the cardiovascular phase, so taking civilians and getting them fit enough, ready to go down to the bottom field assault course. That was a 9-week period. Now, a lot of the stuff that we do in the Brotherhood program is based on in and around those own body type workouts that explode your fitness levels and energy levels, make you become a lot stronger. And some of the type of stuff that we used to do now was rope climbing, a lot of own body weight stuff, core conditioning, upper body conditioning, and just really getting these guys fit enough and strong enough, and we do a pass out. And then from there, we would then take them down to the bottom field. Now the bottom field was disgusting because it was always super hard when I was a recruit and when I was doing my PTI course. You get hammered, like fucking beasted. I can't tell you how much it was. And I used to thrash my nods for being shit. I used to be down there for 2-3 hours, cold, non-emotional face. fucking beasted him. It was really good. But basically my responsibility was to make sure that these guys could get through four phases of the bottom field. This way, you two. And the first phase was to climb a 30-foot rope with 21 pounds of webbing around their kit, around their waist, with a rifle on, which was 10 pounds, which was tough. And if it was raining, it was even harder. Get around the assault course in a certain time, carry another man for 200 meters in 90 seconds, and then be able to do a regain, fully extended arm, fully stretched, climbing back up onto the rope, and then coming off the apparatus. Then we had to maintain fitness as they went through their tactical phases of training, and then start attacking the commando tests, which were just ridiculous. So you had the endurance test, Tarzan, assault course, 9-mile speed march, and then the 30-mile hike over Dartmoor with your kit on, probably around 50 pounds worth of kit. And Jesse, let's go! So that was a brilliant job. I loved it. I literally loved it. Sometimes I'd have 4 troops on a go and making sure that I'm looking after each one of those guys. So programming and making sure that the guys were up to scratch was, one of my main jobs. I then sub-branched off to become an adventure training instructor. So for guys that were coming back from Afghan, or guys that were looking to develop, we would take them on walks up to Snowdonia. We'd take them climbing on single pitch climbs, or kayaking, or canoeing. It was really great laugh. It was brilliant. Living the dreams right, Pete. It was the best job in the Corps. Best job in the Corps. But at the same time, my personal life here, my partner and my family at the time, was living down in East Sussex, and I was living in North Wales. So every weekend I was doing probably a round trip of 9 hours driving. And I was getting quite frustrated because I wasn't seeing my kids as much as I wanted to see them. So on one half of my life, everything was great. Everything was brilliant. I loved my job so much. I was passionate about it. It's like, I talk about it in my book. It was like having a girlfriend that you just literally head over heels for. And I used to love turning up to my job. But on the other hand, I wasn't seeing my children enough. And my dad died when I was like 5 or 6, and I know what it's like to grow up without a dad. And this was definitely in the back of my head when I was doing my job. I was driving home. I was thinking something's got to change. So I kind of decided that, I had to move home. I decided that, and part of me didn't want to be controlled anymore, really, by the military. And, as much as I loved the job, at any point I could be shipped off anywhere for 6 months, 7 months. I might not even come back alive. But I kind of felt that it was time to move on, as gutting as it was. But I just didn't realise just how difficult it was going to be to adjust to normal life. So I ended up leaving the Marines on 2011. In September 2011, I left there and came to join an educational establishment, like a college, where I worked there for a year and a half, and it's probably the worst job I've ever did, to be honest with you. It just wasn't the same. It just did not help me leaving something that I loved, going into something that I absolutely hated. And I hated for a number of reasons, which I'm not really going to go into, but it just wasn't me, and I just wasn't me. And what I lost massively when I left the Royal Marines was I lost lack of identity. So who I really was, what I stood for, I couldn't carry that over into civilian street. And my state of mind was absolutely shot to pieces. The first sort of 3 to 4 months, I kept on coming up with cold sores. I was absolutely exhausted. I was mentally fried. I was trying to deal with the fact that I didn't have a routine. I'm trying to deal with the fact that I wasn't a Royal Marine Commando anymore. I suddenly started to realise I had no purpose. I had no fulfilment. I went from being super fit, fucking hell. Being a PTI in the Marines, obviously, you're going to be certainly one of the top percentage of the fittest in the UK, for sure. But I kind of come back and I had no training regime. I didn't know anyone in the town. So I came back because I'd been away for like nearly 10 years. I fucking didn't know anyone. And everyone that I did used to know kind of didn't even either remember me or have got their own lives. So I kind of came back, I didn't know anyone. I had a serious lack of purpose, serious lack of identity, and I started fucking going on meltdown. You know, started drinking a lot. I started sort of wandering, you know, as in just like, fucking flittering around, trying to grasp, you know, friendships, trying to sort of re-establish some type of identity. Jesse, here! Let's go! Fucking dogs, honestly, I'm gonna murder them. So this went on for over 3 years, okay? And in the space of this 3 years, I became probably a nightmare to live with. I've become an absolute selfish prick. Cost me my marriage for being an absolute prick. You lose sight of everything that you're going through, and suddenly you're at rock bottom. So I really do, and when people say to me it's easier said than done when it's about coming out and snapping out of it. I do understand. I do, you know, I have a background in this. One of the reasons I started the Dad Coach was always that I wanted to be some form of coach or mentor to other guys that not necessarily are going through what I went through, but maybe going through what I went through in a different type of form. You know, you don't have to have gone through the military to really know when you're rock bottom. You know, over those 3 years, I just could never really see the clearer day. Everything was foggy, and you know, my vision was foggy. I never was really aware of what I was doing, pissing it up every weekend, you know, hanging around with the wrong people, just making bad decisions. It's not really clear or purposeful. You know, I had no idea where I was going. So 2013, I left the college and decided to set up my own business. Now, I didn't know what a P&L sheet was. Profit and loss sheet. Jesse, here, now, let's go! And it was a very scary time because I suddenly left what was a real solid wage as an acting sergeant in the Marines. To suddenly, I took a 10 grand hit, by the way, when I left. Now, a 10 grand hit for me, my wife at the time, was devastating. You know, we were on the breadline. And that's at the same time I was trying to earn a little bit of extra money, running a boot camp on a Saturday and a Wednesday. You know, £5 a go, try and bring in some extra money to support me and the family and everyone. And I really enjoyed doing it because what it did, gave me a little bit of purpose. And that little bit of purpose was to train others, you know, like I used to in the Marines. And I suddenly started getting a passion for it. You know, I never really thought about doing my own boot camp and stuff. But I did it in 2013, which is fucking left the college. I was earning £700 a month. And that was scraping £700 a month. But my outgoings were 2,000. So I was like, fucking hell, I'm up shit creek here. And I guess from 2013, the business grew. I just was myself. What was happening over the years that came after when I started, I ended up building up some bigger clienteles. I was doing more PT. I was working 12, 14 hours a day. You know, I was trying to build up this business, and eventually a little bit more money would come in, and we'd build, you know, and I was doing something that I felt gave me purpose and fulfillment. And that purpose and fulfillment sort of led on to building up on my confidence, my self-esteem. I actually started to get to know people, whereas I didn't know anyone before. I was starting to make new friends. I was starting to learn a little bit more about myself. I was self-developing because I wanted to learn how to run a business better. You know, my own personal development become better. I started reading again. I started training again. I stopped drinking. I met a great girl. Fast forward on another 3 years, I'm standing here in front of you, having written a book based on what men go through when they're at rock bottom and how you can overcome that, based on a lot of the stuff I went through between 2011 and now. I run an offline, I still run the boot camp, which is great, and I've got staff to help me do that. I now run the Dad's Coach, where the only thing that I really focus on is my live feeds in the morning, the Brotherhood program, where I can help everybody under the same umbrella. You know, one program, everyone's following it. You know, I'm really passionate about getting the best out of people. You know, it's not just about press ups and star jumps. You know, for fitness, for me, is about controlling the distractions. When you control the distractions, you know, this way you two, let's go, this way please. When you control the distractions, you can live a better life, full stop, you know. Everything becomes better, vision becomes clearer, you find your purpose, your fulfillment. You know, who knows where the future's going to go with that. You know, I want to help a lot of people. We want to go to America. You know, I know there's a lot of war veterans over there as well, but also a lot of guys that are not military that need help. Australia, Canada, South Africa. You can take it worldwide. You know, I want to write a second book. Good to see how that goes. So I kind of just want to say that, you know, it doesn't matter where you are right now in the pits of despair. You can turn it around. Everything can be turned around. You just got to start, and I think that's the biggest thing. So when I had no choice. It's like when I left the college, drop it then. When I left the college, I literally had no choice but to work as hard as I could. And alongside of that came development and came purpose. Whew, I'm exhausted walking on the stones. And I think it's really important that you have some form of vision, some form of purpose. And what I lacked was purpose, identity. Who the fuck am I? 1 minute you're a Royal Marine Commando physical trainer and sniper. The next minute you're just a teacher that ends up fucking grilling 16 to 19-year-olds that don't want to be there. And that was wrong. Now I have purpose in the fact that I want to leave a legacy for my children, but I also have purpose and fulfillment in my job, where I'm helping a ton of men become the very best version of themselves. And that's my mission, you know? My mission, help 1 million men before I die. And somehow we're going to try and do that. I hope this helps. Sometimes I think it's good to listen to someone else that's gone through stuff and to make you realise actually where we are. And I just want to summarise, not even summarise, I just want to finish by saying, no matter what you go through, think about the things that you have. Because it's going to be all doom and gloom. Because what I do have from my mistakes and the decisions that I've made is a great life where I've created time for myself as my biggest currency. I get to see my daughter during the day. I get to see my older kids and pick them up from school. Get to be there for them. When they finish school, I get to go and play football and volleyball, basketball with them after. Okay? You know, I get to have, I might have the smallest house in the world, but I still own my house. Still got a mortgage on it. You know, look at flip side, everything that you're going through. Okay? You're still breathing, so you're winning. Keep going through it, keep pushing through. There's always something, when you flip something, there's always something that you should be grateful for on the other side of those things. And I think that's really important. Yeah, you've got a shit job, at least you got a fucking job. Okay? Yeah, I'm overweight, but you're still alive. Okay? But you're still alive to lose that weight. Yeah, you're in a shit environment. Yep. But you can still deal with it and overcome it and find a new environment. There's something, there's always a flip. When you look down from the helicopter, down looking at your situation, and you see what's happening, and you see that you can overcome it, and you can see that in another fucking 6 months, half of the things that are going on in your life you can change, bang, you are winning. All right? Hope you have a great day. I I'm going to stick this up on a podcast later as well, so if you want to listen from audio, by all means do. All right, have a great day and I'll catch you soon.